Hi, today I would like to show you how to build a simple case for your Raspberry Pi. I decided to use mine as a media center, which will be connected to my disk drives over my network at home. Raspberry Pi is indeed a very small and tiny computer, which is able to stream high-definition videos like Blu-ray at more than 30 frames per second, which is sufficient. As you can see, I decided to use an USB cable to power the Pi. Not only because I did not want to use an extra electric plug, but also because I would be able to plug it directly on a USB port from my TV. In order to build a similar case, you will need a box. Do not ask me what kind of box this one is, as I don't even remember how it was used for in the first place. I actually thought that it would perfectly match with my white TV. But just make sure that the plastic you will use is resistant. This one is high-density polyethylene and can stand the temperature of 100 Celsius degrees continuously, which will be fine, even if we will also be using a cooling fan to avoid overheating. Here is the cooling fan I used. This one was used on a very old computer's processor that a friend kindly gave me. Just make sure that you clean it properly before working with it. You will also want to use a switch, as I did because I didn't want to plug and unplug my Pi all the time. And you can use a switch from an old lamp if you want, it works perfectly well. Also, you will need to use a pair of USB cables, one for the power source, just make sure that it is micro USB and up to modern market standards that will be suitable for the Pi, and one other cable to add power to the cooling fan. I decided to use a USB port from the Raspberry Pi in order to power the cooling fan. You might want to ask why I decided not to save the two USB ports from the Raspberry Pi in order to use a mouse and a keyboard. Well, you can use a USB hub anyway that will bring you extra ports. However, on my side, I decided to use the Gmode application on my Android phone that can be used with Linux in order to control the Pi from my couch. If you want to do the same, just make sure that you have VLC, Gmode server and Java runtime environment installed on the Pi. And by the sound of it, I could make a separate tutorial for this later. If you want me to show you, just write a comment down there and I might upload another video later to show you how to use the Gmode server. So, let's start with the cooling fan. Grab an old USB cable and cut it. You will see 4 cables, but we will only use the black and red cables to power up the cooling fan. As you can see, I decided to use a USB cable from an old device which I am not using anymore. Just make sure that you twist the black cable from your old USB cable to the black one from the fan, and do the same with the red one. You will want to remove the power cables of the fan from its extremity. This can easily be done with a paper clip. Now, just twist the cables together and make sure that the red one is always separated from the black one to avoid short circuit. You might want to ask why I decided not to use a screw terminal. Simply because these cables are too thin and I just use electrician's tape to maintain the isolation. Let's see if it's working now. So just plug the fan into a USB port and see? Now, in order to add the cooling fan to the box, just make a simple hole smaller than the fan in order to allow you to stick it. I know it looks ugly here, but it was not finished, but don't worry, the rest is just about cosmetics. You can also see that I decided to use another hole on the bottom of the box in order to connect the Pi to video, Ethernet and power cables. This will also bring some fresh air inside the box that will be extracted by the fan. Before adding your fan from the inside, just verify that you will use it correctly. You can see here that the air direction is shown here, as you will need to extract some warm air from your case. Now the fan is added to the box, let's see how it's working again. And here comes the second part, where we will be adding the switch to our case. As we did previously, just get the power cable and save the red and black cables on each side. Verify where you will want to add your switch, and as you can see here, we will need to make 2 small holes here and here, with a little help from my friend here. This will allow you to obtain this. Now, just make sure that you connect the switch. It's a piece of cake. Just don't mix the colors, as you will want to have the black cables on one side and the two red cables on the other side. I noticed that the cables might be too thin to allow a connection, so I put them directly along with the screw. If you want to verify that the switch is working properly, just try to connect your mobile phone or any other device that can be charged with micro USB in case you are still waiting for your slice of pie. Now you can stick the switch to your box and that's it. Here is a small and elegant case for your pie. And for any questions, please feel free to leave a message below, and thanks for watching.